What's up guys, Shay Stevens here, PDGA number 77522. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the MVP Reactor. So some backstory for those who might not know, in 2019, I believe it was November, MVP announced it was going to be discontinuing some of its discs, and among that group was 8 mid-ranges, which was a lot. The fans were pretty nervous, but the brothers explained that the gyroscopic effect from the overmold technology that MVP is known for has the best effect on wide rim drivers, and as the disc decreases in speed and that rim width decreases, the effect of that overmold decreases, or it did. When they brought their production in-house, they were able to experiment more, and apparently they have stumbled upon some way to increase that effect on slower speed discs. And because of that, all those discs they discontinued were basically deemed obsolete. So finally, we got the first iteration of the new overmold technology in a disc for mid-range. It's the Reactor, and I'm really loving this disc so far. We're going to check out some throws in a second, but when I got my hands on it, my disc actually had some problems. I guess it didn't eject from the mold properly. It's this nice blue, but there's a bunch of excess plastic around the rim. I took it out of my garage and I sanded it. I was curious, was this something with production, the new machines, maybe an error, but honestly, within minutes, one of the owners actually reached out to me, apologized for it, and actually offered to send me 2 more replacement. And not only did he send me a replacement, he sent me 2. So I ended up getting a nice white one. This is my current backup. I've only thrown it kind of in practice so far, so it's still pretty nice, but white and black is my favorite. This is my favorite kind of combo right here. I can see this at any time, even winter. Don't ask me how. And then I also got this really nice swirly gray one. It's so pretty. I know I want to throw because these just are really fun to throw, but it's almost too beautiful to throw. But I will be. This is my 3rd backup, so if I ever break one of these boys in, this is gonna be the new replacement. So let's go head out to the field and see how they fly. And we're here at my local fields. I've got a nice gap to frame up my shots, and I'm starting with some flat backhands. This first shot is one I'm very excited for. It's really easy to throw that low forward penetrating shot with the Reactor. Usually you want to give lower speed disc more air to work, but this disc just wants to fly. Next up, I do give it some more air to work. I'm dealing with a right to left crosswind, as you can see, but still the Reactor does a good job of gaining forward progress before slowing down and getting caught up in the wind to hyzer out. And the 3rd shot, again, I'm going to do another flat release, get some air under it, and consistent result. Gets good forward progress, the wind catches it and dumps it out. Next up, we're going to try some hyzer releases. I only put a little angle on this first one because I thought the wind would get under it, but actually I was surprised how well it held straight before fading out. So this next one, I'm going to give it a little more angle and see what happens. And even with the angle, it does hold pretty well. The wind does get under it and grab it and throws it left, as I would expect. But it rode that wind really nicely. Final one, I kind of hang this one out to the right to let the wind work it more, and it glides out pretty nice. The anhyzer release was something I was very interested in, given MVP throwers are limited in our mid selection at present. Remember, I am turning this disc into a crosswind, and I was pretty impressed with how well it didn't just turn and burn. So I give this one here a little more air to see what the Reactor will do, and it works really nicely to the right. Lands pretty flat, real controlled. So this last one I mess around with, I give it a little more height, and I take a little angle off to see what it'll do. And surprisingly, it actually does fight out at the very end here. You'll see it pans out, and then you'll see it fight back and finish left, actually. Disclaimer here, my forehand is an abomination, and I am really working on it. That being said, the Reactor really surprised me with how well it handles forehand throws. This first throw, I try to reproduce that low piercing shot, and again, I love how the Reactor stays low and just keeps gliding. Giving it some air this time, and I'm just really loving the glide. See, I'm feeling really confident when forehanding the Reactor. A gap like this normally terrifies me, but I felt in complete control throwing this disc. The big surprise from the Reactor was a shot I haven't thrown in almost a decade.
I was exclusively forehand when I started playing disc golf, and the panning anhyzer used to be my bread and butter shot. The reactor is easy to get over, and it likes to glide out on that angle. See, this second shot, I do crank on it a bit harder, and it does cut roll a little bit, but nothing too severe. But this last shot, guys, really surprised me. Just how well it turns. It goes well out of frame. Just the amount of right to left distances covered was awesome. Just to give you guys some reference, these are some of the distance measures from some backhand sets I threw. I threw a hyzer, anhyzer, and a straight shot, and I am just really loving the distance and control that the reactor delivers.
So, in conclusion, the reactor is a really great mid-range. I would recommend to players of all skill levels. I think all players can get something out of this disc. I'm really excited to try it in some other plastics when they come out. And if this disc is an indicator of future releases for mid-ranges from MVP, the future is really looking bright. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and follow. Take care.
Thank you to Chad and everyone at MVP for putting out awesome products and having amazing customer service. And thank you to my sponsor for all your disc golf needs, including the reactor. Check out Bria Disc Golf.